Prepare to be transported to another world as we venture deep into the heart of Bryce Canyon through the Navajo and Peekaboo Loop. But caution, this trail is not for the faint of heart. It's challenging even for the most seasoned hikers during certain seasons, and I may have regrets about some of the things I didn't do on this trail. But fear not, the rewards of this hike are beyond imagination, and we're going to tell you what to do so that you don't follow in my footsteps. So we're asking the question, is this the best hike in Bryce Canyon National Park, or is it secretly becoming a death march? We had done some research before deciding to do this loop. So for a unique blend of the two iconic trails, it is recommended to do the Navajo and the Peekaboo Loop, creating a mini figure 8 combination loop. No matter how you try to do this trail, you'll be beginning at Sunset Point. From there, you can descend down either side of the Navajo Loop or two bridges if you're doing this in the winter. This will connect you to the Peekaboo Loop at the bottom. And then after Peekaboo Loop, you'll do your ascent back up the Navajo Loop and Sunset Point. From what we had read online, word has it that this is the ultimate trail to do in Bryce, and it's a great fusion between everything Bryce has to offer. The official trail stats for this trail are the following. It's about 5 miles in distance, and it's considered very strenuous. Upon departing from Sunset Point, we continue to where the Navajo Loop Trail begins with a sign that's marked Wall Street. And although it claims to be very slippery underfoot, we found it quite manageable with a pair of proper hiking shoes. Everyone who's wanted to visit Bryce wants to do the Wall Street part of this hike, and therein lies the problem. Wall Street, with its stunning allure, makes a contrasting experience from the rest of the park. Teeming with people and tour groups seeking selfies, it's really kind of just a lot of people in general on this section. However, don't be disheartened by the amount of people that you're going to run into in this section. The further you get away from the main parking lot, the less crowds you're likely to see. And from the beauty of this section, you can definitely see why people flock to see it. The photo opportunities in this section are boundless, and you'll understand why everyone's flocking to see this part. So what I can recommend is just focus, get through this main section, and then the canyon will open up the farther away you get from Wall Street. And before you know it, you'll reach the end of the switchbacks that lead to a jaw-dropping slot canyon that has its own mysteries. My advice here, don't rush to this section. This place is amazing. After you're done admiring these amazing trees, the canyon will start to open up and you'll be on your way towards the Peekaboo Loop. This section of trail will also lead you to the Queen's Garden and the other area of the Navajo Loop to continue your journey up if you aren't doing Peekaboo. This section of the trail is rather easy and flat with very few up and down sections. However, no matter which trail you decide to take, that's about to change. Before you know it, you'll reach this sign, which will tell you which way to take to go on Peekaboo Loop. This connector part of the trail is about 0.2 miles before you'll reach the entrance to the Peekaboo Loop. This section cannot be bypassed and must be completed in both directions. Before you know it, you'll reach the entrance to the Peekaboo Loop. And trust me, before you start this, you're going to want to take a break and have a snack or some electrolytes. This is where I made my mistakes. We ran into a volunteer at the start of our hike, letting us know that it's up and down, and by the time you think that you're done, you still have a ton more up and down to do. And it starts right at the beginning of the trail. We'll start with lots of switchbacks. The good news about Peekaboo is that you have amazing views as you catch your breath going up those switchbacks. But sadly, right after you feel accomplished for making it all the way up, you get to go back down again and lose all that elevation gain that you just did. After going down for a little bit, you'll have a little bit of a reprieve with some flat terrain and some beautiful rock hoodoos to admire. We are in the middle of hiking the Peekaboo Loop. If you go to the left, that is the route we are doing, and so far, you can see behind me, that background is amazing, and it is a little strenuous at first, but it's actually, if you take your time, it's pretty nice. So we'll give you an update here in a bit. So as you can tell, at this point of the hike, I was still feeling pretty good because I hadn't realized that I had made terrible mistakes at this point. Now, we do a lot of hiking, and so for us to feel like we made a mistake, it has to be pretty noteworthy. And so Bryce is something that you have to treat differently than other hikes, but more on that later. What do you think so far?
It's great. It's a good hike. Lots of up and lots of down-ish.
When you're about a quarter done through the Peekaboo Loop, you'll get to hike through the Peekaboo Arch. This is really cool, and I don't know what the history of this arch is, but I have to say I kind of like it. Now, an important thing to note on this trail is to watch out for rattlesnakes. There's a log on this trail that these gentlemen almost sat on, and it was a good thing they were paying attention because that is a fated rattlesnake. Definitely don't want to get bit by one out here. When you're not looking at the ground for rattlesnakes, you'll want to make sure to look up at all the different features. If you look through the different rock formations, you can see the trail where you're going. And also, don't forget to look back because you'll have some amazing views that are behind you. As you can see here, the trail is pretty flat in some sections, giving you a reprieve for your poor legs, which are probably screaming at this point. Just when you think you can't take it anymore, you'll reach this amazing vista viewpoint right below, and if you look up, there are some windows. As you're hiking, it's impossible to pick which viewpoint is your favorite. Around every corner, there's a new view and a new way to look at Bryce Canyon. From the amazing hoodoos and the tall standing trees, there's nothing quite like it. Before you know it, you'll be done with Peekaboo Loop and headed back up to the 2 bridges. Now, this part of the hike, I was starting to really feel my legs. One of the volunteers gave Dane an electrolyte packet, which honestly I should have done the same thing. Sadly, I didn't record too much of this section of the 2 bridges hike. Honestly, it was all I could do to get myself out of there without falling to pieces because my legs hurt so bad. I've never had my legs hurt this much on a hike, and I've never had it happen ever since. So my number 1 recommendation and regret I had on this hike was not taking any electrolytes. So if you plan on doing this hike, I highly recommend bringing electrolytes whether you think you will need them or not. It can really make the difference between enjoying your experience or being miserable by the end of the day. Overall, this loop was a fun loop, and I can honestly say that I probably would never do it again. Even with its beauty and its grandeur, it really makes for a really long day, and after a while, you're just kind of over it. However, it is one of those hikes everyone should do at least once in their lifetime. So, if you enjoy adventures like these, you should like, subscribe, and share with your friends. It costs you nothing and helps our channel out a lot, and we hope to see you out there on the trail soon. Bye for now.